I'll just let you go ahead. I've introduced you.
Okay.
Fill us in a little bit on your creative process.
Okay, so my thesis is about my transition as a trans person. And for that to really make sense, given the sporadicness of the different kinds of pieces I've done, as you can see, they don't really seem to fit together unless you read the artist statement. The ones at the top here they're cartoony and they're not realistic and they're fun. They use actual human hair. That's weird, right? That's to show when I was awkward and uncomfortable with myself, and when I knew kind of that something wasn't right, but I didn't really understand, and I was growing into my identity, like hair grows. I also have polycystic ovarian syndrome, which means I have a lot of hair growth on my legs and on my arms, so that kind of inspires that as well as my transition. The next piece is the self-portrait, and that was my actual Mohawk that I had put up, and then I thought of this piece and I shaved it off that day. I didn't tell anyone what I was doing. Some people I said I'm going to use it for art, but I didn't say anything else until the show. It is full on exactly how it was when it was on my head. It's mostly hairspray. Then the next part are my body prints, and these are a huge deal for me because being not comfortable with who I am was a big problem my whole life. So putting all of this out there and saying, like, this is what it is. This is who I am. This is what I look like. Regardless of how I identify, I still have all these features. I'm confident with who I am now. And this is my way of kind of showing that through my artwork and expressing that. As I explained in here, I kind of think of these pieces as the caterpillar, the chrysalis, and the butterfly of my thesis. Because I started there, and I started there in my transition where I was awkward and afraid, and then I got more confident. It becomes more realistic. It's actually a portrait of myself than physical prints of my own body. This is me, and this is who I am.
So that answered Ronan's question earlier. He was asking, how did you do this?
Actually do this, like create it. Well, we'll start with the first. We'll start with the first body print because this is my favorite. The idea for doing body prints came to me from Sean mentioning he had a friend who did body prints with.
Don't we all?
With what's the material?
Lithography.
But the medium that.
Oh, then I have a few friends in that.
Okay.
Liquid graphite.
Liquid graphite. But I'm not a liquid graphite person. I haven't really experimented with it. Something I do know well is acrylic paint, and I often like to use my hands in acrylic paint just because I love the texture. And so I decided, after hearing about one of Sean's friends, I'm going to do a body print. And unlike the average person, I decided I'm going to do this in art class right now because I can't stop myself when I have inspiration. So I grabbed my paint, I painted a board black, and I went for it. And that one was I think it probably took the longest because cleaning the paint off takes a lot longer than it does to put on. And I had a bucket of water, a bowl of water, and some napkins from the school. So the next ones took less time and were easier to do because I had help. I had an artist assistant, Kristen Solly, and my little sister, Natalie Neal. They helped me apply the paint and wash myself off because I can't reach my back. And they watched me lay down on some boards. So that was a fun day.
Were they all done at the same time then?
These two were done at the same time. This one was also done when I did these three. This one was done separately.
I can imagine it would be really therapeutic, like to just see like those are my actual prints of my body and to accept them and love them.
It was very interesting to see what my body actually looked like when I did the prints because I didn't know what was going to touch. I painted, even though it doesn't have paint up here, I painted it because I didn't know what it was going to look like. So pressing myself against a board like this on the canvas, or on an easel, as awkward as it was, it turned out like that. And I found that fascinating because there was paint all of here and all of here on me, but there wasn't on there. So that's the true shape of my body and how it levels that way. And yeah, it was very therapeutic to see like this is actually me, and this is what I look like, and I'm very
I was in here on first Friday, I guess sort of the official, maybe the official opening that night. And it's always interesting to watch people in an art gallery walk around and take in what's in front of them. This one in particular, I found interesting to people watch with because of how jarring some of the images are without context.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I read the information on the side that even for myself I could frame it in a context. And we are a society in transition too on a subject like this. You know, still a lot of people who don't know how to relate to this question. And what I'm wondering is what has the response been so far?
The response at the opening was amazing for me. That was a huge deal. I was nervous going into this a little bit. I mean, obviously not too much because I did put it up, but I haven't put myself out there this much in my own art yet. And the response was amazing. I had lots of people saying how they're very impressed that I could come forward like this and show my work as a trans person and make it about my transition. I had other people come up and say, I had someone ask me, and this was very interesting to me, someone asked me, there's a lot more people coming out now, do you think there's more people now than there have been, more trans people? And I said, no, it's just more people are feeling safe because we're improving as people and we're growing as a world. And so that really hit me as well, was answering that question. It's, people are starting to feel safer being who they are, and that's also a big part of my project. I feel safe putting all of this out there, even though it's really private and really personal. I feel safe. And I would like that for other people too. And I would also like for other people maybe who don't understand how they're feeling. Because as a kid, I didn't understand. I didn't know you could be trans. It just wasn't something that was taught. Nowadays, people are learning earlier and earlier and feeling more comfortable about it and questioning who they are. And I think that's very important.
Well put. I've also always enjoyed the sense of, and I mean this in a real positive way, a childlike sense of when we were, in kindergarten, one of the first things we did was make hand prints, and we're so excited when our hands are beginning to know ourselves. This is like the major evolution of
I like how you can see the texture of the skin too. You can see how it almost looks like you were cold at one point. You can see like the, so I think it adds to it, all the different textures of skin. And kind of tells a story of its own as well.
And your color sense, your color choices, contrast is
I'm very impulsive as an artist, so a lot of the choices I make, as you can probably tell, are, I'm gonna do it. So the colors are the same way. I did black and red. I went, that might not turn out. You might not even be able to see. I don't know how the paint is gonna be affected. Turned out bright and beautiful. Great, I'll go with it. And I went black and red for another one and tried some purple and yellow as well. And just experimenting all the time. Always experimenting and going with it when I feel, sure, I'll go with that. Trusting inspiration is another thing.
Can you name some of the names of the owners of some of the pieces of hair?
Yes. Okay. So, most of the regular looking and regular textured hair is a mixture of my own hair and Maria McGarry's hair. The pubic region hair here and the armpit hair there are Sean Gray's donated beard hair. I was very happy to receive that. I believe it's perfect. And then the Mohawk is obviously my own from my own head.
That's why Maria had shorter hair now than when we first met her. Sean is almost beardless. Well, very good.
I really like the ear print.
Natalie Neal, she painted my hair for me to make sure it came out the print. And then another quick thing just about that one. I was gonna do a face print the same way I did here, but I was told by my mom and older sister I was born with my hand over my ear. So last minute, I remembered that story and decided to, instead of painting my face, I put my hand over my ear. So that's why instead of having a beautiful face print like this, I have my hand over my ear in the fetal position. Yeah, I know, it's not written anywhere, so.
But it's really nice to always have a little secret that the artist and everything maybe.
Well, yeah, everything has tons of, I could go on forever. There's tons of little small things that I thought about,
I
right?
mean, you've given us this incredible piece of work that's so authentic, and you invite us into the whole thing, but I love the fact that you keep one or two of those. Thank you.
Did we clap all right?
A few times. Yeah, I'm doing it.